Hey and welcome to the Daily Man United News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Erik Tanhaag backs Donny van de Beek to revive his Manchester United career. Manchester United manager Erik Tanhaag is not ready to give up on Donny van de Beek. The 25-year-old joined the Red Devils in September 2020 from Ajax in a £40 million deal. He came with a big reputation, but has struggled to find his feet at United. To everyone's surprise, Tanhaag named him in the starting 11 against Real Sociedad in midweek, but the midfielder failed to put on an impressive display. In his pre-match conference, the manager was asked if the club should accept now that the signing has not worked. He said via The Athletic, "Yes, but that can't be now, because he had quite a good pre-season. He was injured. Now he is back. Last week he came and I think he played very well, 50 minutes, and I think it was a decent performance against Sociedad. I know he can do better, because I know him very well, but he delivered what I expect in terms of positioning and also pressing in terms of transition, but I think he can do more, and that is his biggest quality. He can be more of a threat to an opponent's goal." The Dutch international has failed to establish himself at Old Trafford due to injury issues and form. Both these reasons have curtailed his game time. Before Thursday night, Van de Beek featured 4 times as a substitute this season. Tanhaag may insist that the midfielder has plenty to offer, but he has not shown much in the last 2 years. The manager played a significant role in his development when the duo worked together at Ajax. Everyone thought Van de Beek would get more chances under Tanhaag, but injuries forced him to spend most of the time on the sidelines. He played for an hour against Real Sociedad, but he flopped. Van de Beek looked extremely rusty and failed to find chemistry with his teammates. United lock horns with Aston Villa on Sunday. Bruno Fernandes is suspended, which may give Van de Beek another opportunity to impress. Man United in contract talks with Alejandro Garnacho after Europa League heroics. Another chapter was added to the spectacular rise of Alejandro Garnacho at Manchester United earlier this week, with the youngster's heroics earning the Reds a win against Real Sociedad in the Europa League. Garnacho's sweet first-half finish ensured that United maintained their 100% away record in the tournament, but Erik Tanhaag's men still finished second in the group on goal difference. The 18-year-old's first start of the season came just 1 week before in the 3-0 win over FC Sheriff, with Tanhaag admitting that the winger's attitude was down to the long wait for an appearance. There are also question marks over Garnacho's future at Old Trafford, but the club are said to be keen to tie him down to a long-term deal, and that has been echoed in the latest update. According to Spanish publication AS via Sport Witness, United are already in contract talks with the young Argentine and want to seal his future as soon as possible. As per the report, Garnacho is considered a jewel at Old Trafford, and with his contract expiring at the end of the season, there is a sense of urgency. It's claimed that Garnacho wants to play, and that's something he prioritizes over everything else in his decision-making. Clearly, the kid has bags of talent, and that's something Tanhaag has admitted several times, and now it looks like he is becoming a real first-team regular. The magnitude of Thursday night's game against Sociedad can't be forgotten, and it speaks volumes that Tanhaag trusted Garnacho to get the job done. With more first-team minutes seemingly on the horizon, that could make Garnacho's decision easier. Eddie Howe to hold talks with Manchester United loanee Martin Dubravka, with the door still open at Newcastle United. Newcastle United manager Eddie Howe is set to hold conversations with Martin Dubravka, as the door is still open for a return from Manchester United. The Slovakia international is currently on loan with the Red Devils. The Old Trafford side signed the 33-year-old on a transfer deadline day on a temporary deal for the 22-23 campaign, and the shot-stopper was expected to be the backup to David De Gea and feature in the European and domestic cup competitions. However, the Spaniard has staked his claim to the number 1 spot, and Dubravka has had to settle for a place on the bench. He has not featured for Man United until now, and speaking to the media via Manchester Evening News, Howe revealed a return to the Magpies is not ruled out for the Slovak. Eddie went on to say, "I think he is an outstanding goalkeeper. I really do, and I will have a chat with Martin as time progresses." All I will say is I love Martin as a lad. He did brilliantly for us last year and he is an outstanding goalkeeper and I will have a chat with him at the right time. Of course, yeah, the door is still open. A lot depends on what Martin wants. We will take it from there. The 33-year-old signed for Newcastle in January 2018 from Sparta Prague and immediately made a place for himself in the side from Northeast England. Dubravka was the first choice for most of his time with the Toons. In the previous campaign, the Slovak played 27 times for the Magpies in all competitions, keeping 8 clean sheets. However, with the arrival of Nick Pope at St James Park, the 33-year-old fell down in the pecking order. The former Burnley shot-stopper's arrival seemingly compelled him to make his way to Manchester. Unfortunately, things have not been any better for Dubravka at the Old Trafford side. It remains to be seen whether the Slovak makes his United debut in the Carabao Cup against Aston Villa on 11 November. Augsburg Goalkeeper claims he was approached by Manchester United. Augsburg goalkeeper Rafael Gikiewics has revealed that he was aware of interest from Manchester United during the summer transfer window. From reading the quotes, however, it sounds like Gikiewics isn't sure if he had interest from Manchester United or Newcastle United because he was waiting on developments from both clubs but didn't sign for either. Martin Dubravka ended up moving to Old Trafford. So maybe the links exist for good reason, although that doesn't explain Gikiewics' involvement. Speaking to Canal Plus Sport, as per Sport Witness, Rafael said, "Not only was I linked, but I also signed powers of attorney with either Manchester United or Newcastle United. In the goalkeeper market, everything works like dominoes. As Martin Dubravka leaves, this is the place and so on. They called me from England and asked if I wanted to take a risk. At the same time, they added that something could happen in the last hours of the transfer window and whether I wanted to take a risk. I was sitting at home, so what is the risk? I signed everything and waited for the development of events," he said. Diogo Costa still wanted by Manchester United despite contract renewal. Manchester United still retain an interest in Diogo Costa despite his recent contract renewal with FC Porto, according to journalists Scott Saunders and Graham Bailey. Of 90 minutes, Costa has been scouted by the Red Devils at least half of dozen times. United view him as a potential replacement for David De Gea, with the Portuguese keeper far better with his distribution. The thinking is that he would fit into Erik Tanhaag's system much more comfortably as a result. At 23 years of age, Costa is one of the best young goalkeepers in the world and has the potential to be Man United's number one for a decade. But earlier this week, the shot-stopper signed an extension taking the length of his deal to 2027. While that could be perceived as the end of the chase, scouts are continuing to keep tabs on Costa. And in practical terms, all that has really happened from United's point of view is that their target's release clause has just increased from 60 million euros to 75 million euros. If the Red Devils were serious about signing Costa for the former, they will surely still be interested at the latter price, given that Porto were always likely to demand the release clause be paid in full. The real stumbling block over a potential move is David De Gea's improvement in form. The Spaniard had a rocky start under Tanhaag, with his questionable shot prevention and substandard distribution contributing to embarrassing defeats against Brighton and Brentford at the start of the season. Since then, he has not only rediscovered his shot-stopping excellence, but has also looked to act more proactively while improving his distribution. De Gea's £375,000 a week contract was regarded as another very good reason to move him on, but according to the report, United's number one is now open to renewing his contract on reduced terms. The club's scouts are insisting on Diogo Costa as a modern keeper capable of giving United what Alisson gives to Liverpool or Ederson to Manchester City. However, if De Gea continues to win over Tanhaag, United may be able to save a huge chunk of their budget, which could perhaps be redirected to the attack. Palmeiras striker Endrick has not made decision over future amid United links. Fabrizio Romano has delivered an update on reported Manchester United transfer target Endrick, who looks set to join one of Europe's big clubs when he leaves Palmeiras. The Italian journalist tweeted quotes from Endrick's father Douglas, who comments on interest from Real Madrid, but states that they currently have no preference over the youngster's next destination. The father went on to say, "There is nothing decided for Real Madrid or any other club. We have no preference yet. We will decide in the next months the club that will pay what Palmeiras want and show us the best technical project for Hendrick will sign the boy." Hendrick, 16, only recently became a member of the Palmeiras first team, making his debut against Coritiba. Just weeks later, he managed to become the youngest ever goal scorer in the history of the Brazilian league. He now has 3 goals in 5 league appearances. However, the Daily Mail reported back in January that United, Real Madrid and Barcelona were tracking the forward. With United links that exist, we must remember that Brazilians are not allowed to move outside of their homeland until they turn 18, so Hendrick still has some time to develop into an even better footballer at Palmeiras before he challenges Europe like so many other great players have done, thus include United stars Antony and Casemiro. On Wednesday night, Hendrick scored again in a 4-0 win over Fortaleza to help his club clinch the league title. He celebrated with Cristiano Ronaldo's new celebration. Most seem to think he will end up at Real Madrid, but the same was said about Neymar. To be defined as Manchester United step up January plans. Manchester United are on the verge of reaching an agreement with PSV Eindhoven over the transfer of Cody Gakpo. The winger has been in sensational form this season, having already scored 13 goals in 22 appearances. A creator as much as a goal scorer, Gakpo has also led on 16 assists this term. The Red Devils had been close to signing the PSV star in the summer. However, the club's spending having already reached record levels, a deal failed to materialize. But now, according to journalist Rudy Galetti via Sports Witness, United are about to finalize a deal with PSV for their talisman. According to the report, United are shifting focus towards the January transfer window in light of the upcoming Qatar World Cup. Gakpo stands to increase his value with a good showing in the tournament, which would make negotiating an agreement now prudent. The forward is among Erik Tanhaag's priority targets even after the collapse of a deal in the summer. United's manager has repeatedly insisted that his team need more options in attack, most recently in the wake of the 1-0 win over Real Sociedad. Needing a second goal to top the Europa League group, Tanhaag had resort to centre-back Harry Maguire as his team chased the result. United were not even able to start that match with a pair of natural wingers, with Bruno Fernandes forced to play out of position on the right due to injuries to Jadon Sancho and Antony. With such a limited pool of attackers to choose from, it would be no surprise to see Manchester United use the winter window to reinforce their offense. Manchester United and Arsenal both showed an interest in signing Almiron before. Manchester United and Arsenal both previously showed an interest in signing Miguel Almiron before he joined Newcastle. Almiron signed for Newcastle in 2019 but struggled to make an immediate impact at the club. This season, under Eddie Howe, Almiron is in the form of his life and has already scored more league goals than any previous season at Newcastle. The 28-year-old has managed 7 league goals already this season, and his agent has now revealed how Newcastle weren't the only Premier League club showing an interest in signing him before he moved to England. There was interest shown by Manchester United in Miguel, but they never made an offer. Arsenal and Southampton offered loan deals for him, but "We did not want it to be a loan," said Daniel Campos, speaking to ABC Cardinal via Manchester Evening News. Newcastle currently sit in the Champions League places of the Premier League, and Almiron has played a pivotal role in their rise this season. After an impressive start to the season, it will be interesting to see if Manchester United reignite their interest in Almiron, who could no doubt make an impact on our side if his form continues. I will be uploading daily Man United news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.